What's going on, guys? There's a big trend going on right now with the tech industry, and a bunch of companies are laying off employees left and right. So we're going to go over this video in this changing industry.
Big tech is slashing hundreds of thousands of jobs and blaming artificial intelligence, but there may be more to the story than that. Intel just announced 15,000 layoffs yesterday, causing their stock price to plunge. Big tech, who for over a decade provided all sorts of employee perks, may no longer be the dream place to work. In 2009, a friend of mine who had quit his job in investment banking joked that in the wake of the financial crisis, being an investment banker was like being an airline stewardess. The job used to be glamorous and well paid, and now it was neither. After the financial crisis, central banks around the world slashed interest rates to near zero, which was bad for banks but good for startups and the tech industry.
Yeah, that's true. The lower the interest rates are, the better it is for the tech industry, just because people can borrow, companies can borrow, um, loans, and the rates would be low. So essentially, during the pandemic, right, they slashed the interest rates to zero, and it's basically free money you can borrow. So that makes sense.
According to the St. Louis Fed, over the 5 years after the financial crisis, jobs in the tech sector expanded by more than 20% compared to 11% job growth in the overall US economy. Tech sector wages, which were already high, grew at roughly 5% per year over the same period. It became the place to be. While other businesses
Yeah, during this time, all you hear are the lucrative positions in big tech, and it's a cool industry to be in.
offered employees benefits like pensions and healthcare, tech firms attracted staff by offering perks like free food, offices that look like playgrounds, nap pods, the ability to bring your pet to work, on site massages, meditation rooms, office jam sessions at Spotify, and something called disco yoga.
Yeah, lots of perks that you see on social media where people would show off their tech jobs and all the perks it has, from free food, perks on the job like gyms, relaxation areas. You can bring your pets to work. A lot of that was not present in Tesla, where I worked before I got laid off. Only perks that I was able to participate in was the free charging for my Tesla.
Google and Facebook offered employees a free laundry service, which is only so much of a perk when their employees mostly wear shorts and t-shirts.
And also the your uniforms were pretty lax, at that time, to a degree, but as demonstrated in this video, that definitely was going on around that time.
I don't know, maybe the laundry service went to their homes and picked up their dirty laundry from their bedroom floors. That's probably how it worked. To seem relatable, tech workers began posting day in the life videos on social media, mostly showing themselves playing ping pong and eating berries at work.
You saw this on
Hey
TikTok
guys,
all the
welcome to a
time.
day in my life as a 26-year-old working in tech in Manhattan. So I wake up at 5 a.m. and I go to Equinox, then I get in a cab and head to the office. The subway is really scary since there are tons of lower class people who don't work in tech, so I take the cab everywhere now.
In 2020, the global pandemic transformed how people lived, worked, educated their children, and spent their free time. The world rapidly moved online, and the surge of e commerce and consumer tech spending led to massive revenue growth at big tech. Central banks around the world slashed interest rates even further, and tech firms took that cheap money, significantly stepping up their investments in moonshot projects like self driving cars, metaverses, and crypto.
Exactly what I said. Mark Zuckerberg. Exactly what I said earlier. Cheap money. So big companies just started laying people off. This thing caught me off guard.
Facebook, who went so far as to change the company name to Meta to demonstrate their commitment to whatever the metaverse is, hired a ton of people during this period, with headcount up 60% by the end of 2021. During this boom period, the mega cap tech firms' combined increase in headcount was 35%, or almost 130,000 new jobs. And
Yeah, just a couple of years ago, remember that? Big tech was hiring and the great resignation was going on. People were job hopping all over the place and they couldn't keep employees long enough or attract enough good employees, even with good salary. So the pay bump increased in the tech sector.
the lavish deals that they had given their employees redefined employment expectations in the entire economy. The big tech firms were already rated as the best firms to work for, with Google or Alphabet having been ranked number one 8 times between 2006 and 2018 on the Fortune list of the best companies to work for. Justin Fox at Bloomberg points out that there had been an acceleration in hiring even before the pandemic, which explains why tech CEOs might have thought that the growth that they were seeing during the pandemic represented a new normal rather than a temporary effect. By the end of the pandemic, they had hired almost 200,000 more people in the US than they would have if they had stuck to their prior hiring trend. The tech stock sell-off that started in 2022 put big tech companies under pressure to improve their bottom lines, and they laid off.
Yeah, the sell-off on back in 2022, most tech stocks got hit significantly, Tesla included.
Of some of the excess staff that had been hired to meet the pandemic boom. Twitter led the way with layoffs when its new owner reportedly laid off half of the employees within a month of taking over the company, breaking the taboo of tech layoffs, making it easier for other big firms to lay off staff without standing out from the crowd. Big tech has been making significant cuts, and the layoffs don't seem to be ending. According to layoffs.fyi, a website monitoring job cuts in the tech sector, there were 165,000 tech sector layoffs in 2022, 260,000 in 2023, and there have been 125,000 so far this year.
Yeah, lots
The
of
tech
layoffs
firms
this year.
are still reporting good earnings, and the AI boom is still in full swing. Overall jobs growth in the United States has been strong, if slowing slightly, and workers' pay has been outpacing inflation. So why are tech workers losing their jobs? Where are they going? And which roles are disappearing the fastest? Is working for big tech no longer a dream job?
It's still a dream job if your position, isn't bloated, because a lot of the jobs that were available, a lot of them were just crossover positions, hybrid positions as well. And so during this time of in this economic situation right now where profit margins are a lot more important, and with the boom of AI, a lot of these jobs are now in danger of being replaced. And I agree with his assessment that these jobs are going to be in danger of being laid off.
In 2024, the YouTube and LinkedIn trend of posting day in the life of a tech worker videos reversed course. The new videos were called A Day in the Life of an Out of Work Tech Worker, and they seemed a lot less fun.
Big life update. I got laid off yesterday.
For some reason, these young tech workers hold their microphones in their hands in their videos, which I worry makes them less employable, as if you don't understand the technology of a mic stand, which is a stick, you don't seem that up to
I've always wondered why people do that. I have mine right here, but I have it sitting right by my chest.
date with technology. I mentioned this issue to a friend who told me that young people do this to seem more personable, so I thought that I would give it a go. Hopefully, I seem more relatable now. The audio quality should still be good because, it's not actually plugged in. I'm trying to seem relatable, not to have bad audio. According to the FT, a lot of the tech layoffs are happening as companies are reshuffling their resources in order to invest in new areas such as generative AI, while showing shareholders that there's a continued focus on cost discipline.
I didn't, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. That's good.
They highlight Meta, which cut more than 20,000 jobs since late 2022, who said in February that net headcount additions for the year will be minimal, even as they made significant investments in generative AI, which would involve securing talent. The result has been a wipeout in tech jobs, and for the first time since the dot-com bubble burst, IT unemployment is actually higher than US unemployment overall. I'm sorry, I have to stop with this microphone thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'll put a link to a mic stand in the video description to help out any of my younger viewers who aren't familiar with how that works. The tech sell-off of 2022 led tech companies to evaluate their workforces and realize that they had a lot of dead wood. And if they had leaner organizations, they could be more profitable. And as they cut staff, their stock prices started to rise. According to the Washington Post, as stocks have risen, spirits in the San Francisco Bay Area, the heart of the US tech industry, have only fallen further. The layoff announcements from big tech companies all contain variations on the theme of "we hired too many people during the boom years." While things are tough in the tech sector, the BLS data shows that the ratio of job openings to job seekers is still quite good. There are 8.2 million job openings in the United States and only 7.1 million job seekers. Unfortunately, a lot of the job openings are in areas like education, healthcare.
Yeah, the job openings available right now are not in tech at all. Yeah, there's a lot of government, healthcare,
hospitality, transportation, and utilities, not tech. According to the press, a lot of the tech layoffs have been in ESG areas, where the big tech firms have started abandoning their woke policies as part of their cost cutting. The New York Post reported that Microsoft laid off a team devoted to diversity, equity, and inclusion after spending millions of dollars on the initiative. One of the signs of the overhiring may have been the woman that they hired away from the land registry who would read out the property title before every meeting.
First, we want to acknowledge that the land where the Microsoft campus is situated was traditionally occupied by the Sammamish, the Duwamish, the Snoqualmie, the Suquamish, the Muckleshoot, the Snohomish, the Tulalip, and other Coast Salish peoples since time immemorial.
Maybe I should look up.
What the fuck was that? DEI hires are a big topic right now, and I'm a big believer in meritocracy. Then the employees that are left behind should be the best ones for the job, and I'm okay with that.
Who owned this office before me and say something nice about them at the start of the videos. I don't know how people do this stuff. Anyhow, last year, Alphabet and Meta, or Google and Facebook, reduced the scope of their DEI programs and cut staff. Zoom, Snap, Tesla, DoorDash, Lyft, and Wayfair have also downsized their DEI teams. The Post reports that DEI-related job postings had declined by 44% by mid-2023 compared to the same period in 2022. Despite these layoffs, Microsoft told the Post that their diversity and inclusion commitments remain unchanged. Maren Somerset Webb wrote in Bloomberg earlier this year that ESG and DEI policies had turned out to be low interest rate environment luxury goods. She highlights the pullback from these policies across both the public and corporate sectors. In the UK, the Financial Reporting Council just opted against including ESG requirements in the UK Corporate Governance Code, and BlackRock's.
Interesting. So far his argument with this video is that big tech companies are not hiring anymore and are laying people off because first, the interest rates have been low, or rather have gone up since from a couple of years ago. and therefore we've got to lean and trim out the fat as far as the workforce are concerned. And second, tech companies need to put a stop to DEI hiring in ESG policy hires. So I think that's pretty interesting.
CEO Larry Fink, once a champion of ESG, rarely mentions it anymore. Mentions of DEI and ESG in company earnings calls have plummeted too since interest rates started to rise, as has their prominence in corporate presentations. A recent paper from the University of Copenhagen suggests that even amongst retail investors, ESG investing is a luxury good, where demand for it increases disproportionately with the scale of inherited wealth. Tech, just like finance, can be a boom and bust industry, where workers are paid well, but there is a lot of career volatility. People who have been in either industry for a full market.
That's true. At least with Tesla, the company is pretty volatile. But during the growth phase, it was an amazing company as far as the stock is concerned. And working there was a lot of, the stock is definitely what everyone cared about, since that's how primarily everyone made money.
Market cycle are usually aware of this and know to save their money when the times are good. I'm reminded of a story a friend told me of hiring at an investment bank back in the late 1990s. He said that it was so hard to hire at the time that he found himself making offers to the type of candidate that he would have never considered in prior years, as he just needed to fill seats. During the slowdown of the early 2000s, he then let all of those people go. During the US tech sector's last high-growth phase from 1990 to 2000, national employment in the tech industry shot up by 36% over the period, according to Federal Reserve data. Average weekly wages for tech workers doubled, rising by 102% over the decade. At its peak in 2000, tech employment accounted for just over 4% of total private employment. When the dot-com bubble burst, technology sector employment declined rapidly, with significant net job losses for 4 straight years.
Well, what do you guys think? Are you part of the tech industry that may have been recently laid off like I have been, or like I was? Or what do you think of the situation right now if you are currently working in the tech industry? I know I have my former colleagues telling me that it's been a rough going for them as far as working experience since I was let go. Just the whole industry in general, just because they're overworked and the expectations for them is to perform on a high level, or the current economic environment right now is not the best situation for them. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.